Hey folks, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, I am Julianne Hoore, the bearded bombshell of the Scottish drag scene. Today we're back to review the brand new episode of Drag Race UK Series 2 and all the fashions from the surprise runway. So the theme for the runway was your best reveal, your best surprise, and it's quite interesting. Some of the queens took it in quite of an unusual direction, shall we say. There's a couple of different things I want to look out for. So first of all, do the works look individually on their own? So are they well made? Do they give a story? What's the thing there? Number two, do the two looks work together to create a story, character, narrative, theme of any kind of sort? We'll see soon. And thirdly, was it an effective reveal in itself? We've seen lots of reveals on the Drag Race stage, so it'll be interesting to see if any of them take it in a new and different direction. And we have lots to discuss, so let's jump right on in with our first queen, Ahora. Now, Ahora was doing a bride and groom reveal, starting off in the groom look. The look wasn't particularly special. Obviously, she was given a very kind of traditional sense of what a groom is, of course, the suit, but kind of going a little bit old school with the top hat, which cleverly hid a lovely, beautiful beehive and, of course, a wedding veil underneath there. I thought that was a really particularly special part of the reveal, and the suit came off so very well cleanly as well. There was obviously a lot of tulle hidden at her waistband, so she was kind of like straight up and down, but I suppose that plays with the masculine elements of it being in drag. And then when, of course, she takes the suit off, she has this bridal gown on underneath, which is fairly okay, nothing particularly special about it. Obviously, when you're stuffing all of that fabric underneath another costume, it's really difficult to also have intricate work on there, so I totally understand why it's maybe not as up to par with some of her other looks that we've seen. The one thing that she could definitely have controlled a lot more was the jewellery. She had this little tiny single band of diamantes, diamonds on one little band on a necklace, and it seemed like she could have had a bigger necklace, had a bit more of an impact statement with that part. When it came to the bridal look, I felt that was very lacking. She had beautiful earrings on, which obviously you'll be able to see with the groom look. So it'd be nice if she amped it up more with a big statement piece of jewellery, because the dress obviously in itself was fairly plain. As Ahora said, she has married herself and left me at the altar gagged. Next then we have is Laurence Chaney, our Glasgow queen, of course, representing Scotland in this saltire tartan extravagant look. I really particularly like that saltire sequin jumpsuit. I think that looks really beautiful. And of course, she's got to amp in a little bit of comedy, knowing what Laurence is like, faking a reveal with the trousers and then going off with the top. It did seem there was a bit of a struggle with the reveal itself, but she got it all off pretty smoothly in the end, and fluffing out that big long skirt that she has to make sure the entire look was covered. So I will give her props for that she still had the bodysuit, jumpsuit on underneath that skirt, and it was all very well hidden. Props to you, Laurence. The tartan dress again itself, fairly simple, but again, when you're working with something underneath something else, there is limitations to what you can do. There was a few little things that I did particularly note. I did like the tartan match down the centre very well, which can be sometimes difficult, or also kind of can easily be forgotten when putting a look together. Pattern matching, especially if you're not one that sews quite often, you might not even think about matching your patterns between pieces, but this one was really well done, especially being the tartan stripe was right down the centre. And then she had the little tartan bow in the hair, which matched a little bow on the top of the dress, which I thought was a very cute detail. And of course, stunning matching jewellery. See, Ahora, you can put beautiful jewels underneath there. I love this look, and Laurence, you can have a gag from me. Next in is Ginny Lemon, and to be honest, at some point we had to have, I don't think it's ever happened before where someone's revealed into the exact same outfit. And to be honest, I'm glad it was Ginny Lemon. If she was the first one to do it, I'm glad she was the first one to do it, because it totally makes sense with her comedy style and her style of drag as well. Of course, the look is a beautiful 60s Mary Kwan mini dress, which as you know, I'm absolutely in love with. I think it's a great silhouette. It's fun to play with as well in drag 60s prints and patterns. And she did that incredibly well, getting the tackiest, gaudiest 60s prints that should have stayed in the 60s. I love it, Ginny. It's so right up your alley, and I can see your character in this reveal. Amazing. Then of course she starts to reveal and it's the exact same dress underneath. But then she turns around and she has her bare, hairy ass exposed on the stage. I was cackling. I'm totally obsessed with Ginny Lemon's point of view. I think that was phenomenal. Really, Ginny, you had me gagged. Next up we have is Cherry Valentine, and Alan Carr said he totally saw the reveal coming, and to be honest I didn't, but then also if you compare it to some other looks, for example Ahora's, you could totally see that coming, so I don't get why you really critiqued her for that, because there was a lot of other queens where you're like, oh, this was fairly straightforward, kind of saw it coming. And to be totally honest, I really actually like the look as she came out. I love kind of a playing with silhouettes and drag. It doesn't always have to be a cinch waist and pads. So I loved how she had this big tulle skirt coming from her tits. I did go back and look to see if it was a little bit more obvious, and it does seem that the top part of that skirt is protruding a little bit more than the rest of it. But really, like in the moment when I was watching it, I did not see it coming. So who cares what Alan Carr says? You looked beautiful here, Cherry, and I love that big, huge, massive bow with the print on it that matched the bows on the shoes, the bow and the polka dots on the skirt. I thought it looked great. And then, of course, it came off and it was a gender reveal kind of party, and at least she came with a concept. There's some queens that didn't really come with a strong concept, and I thought it was cute. Although I do wish she kind of kept the bow on her head, because then she had that bus driver wig, which didn't look that great, to be perfectly honest. She could have kept the bow on, because she still had the bows with the polka dots on the back of her shoes. So just thinking about those little things, she only really needed to take the skirt off to do the baby bump and gender reveal. And although this gender reveal didn't really fan the flames, it still had me gagged. Next in is Tia Coffee, and she's Baroness Basic for a reason. Now, she didn't really come with a strong concept here. It's a campy leather daddy into a flamenco dancer. At no point where I see that those two characters coming together and making sense whatsoever. I mean, if you're going to do a reveal like that, you start off with something like attractive, simple, and then you go into the leather daddy to kind of go for the shock factor. But no, she came out in this really ugly bodysuit that was spray painted, I guess, to be like a hairy chest, and it had little leather elements. To be honest, I think she could have taken that look further. It could have had some straps that were still just attached to the bodysuit, so obviously didn't interrupt with the reveal. Or alternatively, she could have had like put on like a mustache and like a leather cap and gave like a Tom of Finland fantasy. I would have loved to have seen that as part of the reveal. So there's definitely missed opportunities, at least with the first look. And then she takes the bodysuit off, and to be perfectly honest, I think this was the best reveal technique the whole night, and out of actually many reveals, this was a surprising way that she did it, but did it so flawlessly. She had whatever fastenings that she had come apart from the shoulder seam and the side seam, so then when she took the bodysuit, she just took it out from underneath her and then threw it away, and it was so incredibly slick and so well done. Good job on that, Tia Coffee. Very proud on that element. But then the look that she's revealed into is this flamenco dancer. She kind of looks like the emoji, but it's so plain. Like if you're gonna do an emoji reference for the second look, why not make the first one a reference like that as well, you know? Put them together, make it make sense. I fell hard for that reveal, but the looks themselves left me soft. Unfortunately, it's a hag. Next in is Ellie Diamond, and she came in and parallel opposite to Tia Coffee with a very clear and exact concept, and that she was doing characters from Wizard of Oz. Now of course she comes out in this scarecrow look, and to be honest it's quite short, and you're like, how much of a reveal is this going to be? Of course you could take the top down and have it all come down, but actually all of the looks were roughly the same length, and you can tell Ellie had really practiced the reveals to this, because it was very slick and well done as well. She also built in some props to work with the outfits and the different characters as well. So she comes out in the scarecrow first, And when she takes that off, she's the Tin Man, but underneath that she has a little, what's it, the oil can stuck to the dress, and she can take it off, and she's doing a bit more characterization with the second character, which I thought was fantastic, brilliant. And then she actually does another reveal and does the Cowardly Lion, but then also has the tail wrapped around the skirt. It must be stuck on with like Velcro or something, so to make sure it wasn't dislodged during the first reveal, which is so incredibly clever. She's so well thought out. Okay, what are my challenges here to get the looks I want to do and bring them to the stage, but also not spoil the reveal. Ah, Ellie, well done. This was fantastic. She especially did a little bit more characterization to the Tin Man and the Cowardly Lion, which I thought really sold it even more. Ellie took us down the yellow brick road and had us gagged the whole journey. Next in is we have Astina Mandela, being the surprise fashion queen, look queen of the season. And to be honest, I've not played Mortal Kombat in years. This look was a clear reference to it, though I understood that at least. But when she took the cloak off, I was like, I hope that's not the reveal. Like, there needs to be something more, but of course she had this mask covering her mouth, which had a little latex teeth moment on there, which I thought was phenomenal. So as soon as she took that off, I was like, oh, thank God, oh, brilliant. But it was also something entirely different. It wasn't necessarily a whole look reveal. It was kind of more in the spirit of Katya's reveal, where she had like the pentagram and the black teeth as part of her reveal on All Stars 2. And again, I really love her characterization on the runway. She really tells a story on stage, and you can just tell she's such a performer. She's doing little kind of video game moves from 8-bit video games. I thought that was really fantastic. And Astina had us gagged again. What a surprise. Next in is Sister going from housewife to bondage queen, and I love this idea, the concept of it, but it just wasn't executed in well enough, unfortunately, especially with the upcoming look in comparison. We'll get to that in a second. The first dress is quite her aesthetic 60s, 70s print, long caftan kind of dress. Nothing special. We've seen this before many times. She could have taken this in a slightly different direction, because we've seen these colours and prints on people like Trixie Mattel. She could have changed up the fabrication of it, kind of hinted at the way it was going, perhaps with maybe kind of leather or latex or PVC pieces as part of the 60s, 70s look. But she didn't do that. It was just a fairly simple dress. And then she takes it off, and to be honest, I really do like the whole fact that she had a tattoo bodysuit on underneath. I thought that was really clever. It kind of did develop the character a bit more. But the underwear set that she had on, and then the straps that she had on, really didn't sell me that fantasy of kind of a bondage fetish by night look. It was very tame to what I was hoping it could have been. And then for some reason she didn't take her wig off until the end to reveal the tattoo bald cap underneath. That just didn't make sense to me either. It's like, why don't you just show off the look to its fullest? It just didn't seem as if she was convinced by her look either. Fortunately, Sister did not have me sister stunned for this look, and it's a hack. And as I hinted at, we have another housewife look with Veronica Green, and this housewife look really works well into what she does with the character as she goes into a robot in the end. I really feel that the housewife look that she created is something that a robot would create when trying to assimilate and replicate that housewife persona, you know, like if they took vintage references. I can see a robot trying to do that as part of their look. I thought that was kind of clever and very subtle in the way she did it. And she pulled it out even further with having props as well, which is something I think a lot of the queens are missing out on. She had a baking tray with little gingerbread men on there, which I thought was fantastic. Great idea. Just amp up the character even further, tell that story to us through the screen and to the judges. And then she takes off the dress. Now it did look like a struggle, but it worked again in terms of putting on the character as if the way she was moving as part of a robot to take the dress off. I thought that worked really well, and it could have been just because the armor pieces that she'd made, she didn't want to take off by accident. It could have ripped them off, it could have broke them, who knows. So she worked that really well into the character whilst maintaining the look, so that was great. And the look itself was really well made. That bust piece looked exquisite. I want to get one of those. It looked fantastic. Veronica's look was so hot the circuit has tripped and has left me gagged. Next we have in is Taste, and this was so disappointing. Again, Taste being one of our expected fashion queens of the season from the promo trailer and basically kind of the energy and looks that she does give off. This was such a disappointment. It seemed as if this was a look that she had already in her closet, which is like, oh, we can work this in, add a little spray paint blood on the face and then blood coming out of the mouth. But that's not a concept, that's just so forceful. It's trying too hard. It would have been great if she actually came in with a full concept ready to go, but it was totally missed opportunity here. I actually think the pieces on their own are actually pretty cute. I do like them. On maybe another runway was part of a challenge, I may actually gag these looks. But like even with what Michelle says, I'm quite conscious of corsets and body formers showing under mesh. So I also have a nude body former, and if I'm doing something like a high cut, I'll actually put my corset on underneath, my body former on top of that, then my pads and tights on top of that. So it's at least all nude, even if there is some separation between, say, the tights and the body former. I would disagree with what the judges said in terms of put on like red fabric, because then it would disrupt the lines of the actual catsuit that she was wearing. You know, it would make that not look the way it was intended to. So I normally say go for a nude body former underneath, and if necessary, corset underneath your pads and figure out a way to smooth that all out. Taste may have been gagging on blood, I was left wanting more. Unfortunately, it's a hag. And last queen in we have is Bimini Bomb, again another one of our fashion queens. And when she was explaining this look, I was so excited for it. She says she's referencing the Queen's 1999 Spring-Summer number 13 collection, at which the end there is a ballerina that's placed on this platform in the middle that spins, and she has these robots kind of playfully dancing around her, at which point they then attack her with spray paint, and it's probably one of McQueen's most iconic collections, period. But it's such a masterful piece of art and fashion together as part of the runway. And so when she was saying she was referencing that particular collection, I was like, I hope these balloons work. And then they didn't pop quite right, and the paint didn't quite work, which was so unfortunate, especially as it was meant to be a message to celebrate trans pride and the non-binary community that Bimini is part of. Such a shame. The look itself is actually quite stunning. I really love that sculpted wig that she has on. It's given an alien egg kind of fantasy. Feels very McQueen as well. And then that beautiful corset that she has on that I believe was made by Misty Couture. Stunning designer. What would have been maybe a good idea is to have like spray paint cans, or like just coloured hair spray cans, like stuck onto the back of the corset, and she then walks down and then pulls them out and then sprays into, say, the hair and the corset all in one place, so it saturates and it starts to drip down as well. I think that would have been a really beautiful way of executing the look. So unfortunately, I think missed opportunity there. Even if the tests work out, how much is there a chance for error here? Like, you know, that would be one thing that would be weighing on my mind, because I am paranoid. The look alone had me ready to be tied up and gagged. Unfortunately, I was just left deflated. It's a hag. Unfortunately, this week we are saying goodbye to Cherry Valentine. I'm so sad to be seeing her go. From the trailers and the promos, I really thought she was going to be at the end. She was one of my queens that I was rooting for to be at the end, so it's such a shame to see her go out so soon. She pulls out some of the most amazing looks as well, which I don't think we really got to see the full potential of on the show. So that is such a shame in itself. And make sure to go follow Cherry Valentine, because I am sure there's many wonderful looks to come and many great performances to come as well, because I really don't think that song was her kind of song. From what she said on her Instagram story, she says she's more of a performance queen, doing splits, kicks, jumps, whatnot. She says ballads aren't really her kind of thing, so I hope to see her in the very near future. Make sure to give her a follow. For gaggiest gag, it has to go to Veronica Green. That look was a head show concept. the way she worked the reveal itself into the characterization as well. I thought that was absolutely phenomenal. She really thought about her reveal going from the housewife to the robot, whereas some queens it's like, how can I get to A to B as quick as possible? And it's like, no, like put some more thought into it, put in some character, or how can I jazz it up in a way that is unexpected. The whole idea was the runway was surprise, surprise. And to be honest, I don't think that many queens really gave a surprise. Let me know in the comments down below who was your gaggiest gag. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to press the like button down below, subscribe and ring that bell icon so you get notified every time I upload a brand new video. If you want to check out more of me, make sure to do so on all social media at Julianne Hoore, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Bye folks.